I'm Victoria Brandon, representing the Lake County Sierra Club. I assume that the members of the board received the letter that I submitted last week. Okay, I won't submit that again. I want to just make two very brief points. One of them, as expressed in the letter. I'm not an archaeologist. I would not presume to comment in any way about the adequacy of the work that Dr. Gates did. And I'm sure the members of the board would have the same attitude, that we're none of us are professionally qualified to do that. However, during the Planning Commission review of this, submissions were made by 3 registered professional archaeologists who do have the qualifications to make a worthwhile comments on this, and they all found difficulties in the way the studies had been conducted and said that additional work was needed to come to a true understanding of what happened. Now, CEQA regulations on this are really very clear. They have the burden, when experts disagree, the default is that an environmental impact report should be prepared. This is not something that it depends on the number of people who have testified to this, and it does not at that point even delve into the precise validity of the things they're saying. It gives the assumption that if experts on this subject say that an environmental impact report is needed, then an environmental impact report is indeed needed. Later, during the preparation of that report and in the review of it by responsible elected bodies, that's the time that you can weigh the validity of one bit of testimony versus another. But at this stage, CEQA says you've got to do the environmental impact report if there's disagreement among experts. Now, I'm not a lawyer either. I don't even play one on the radio. But I happen to be familiar with this particular point because it was central to the Sierra Club's recently concluded action to try to get an environmental impact report on a big box development in the city of Clear Lake that was concluded with everything, where we basically got everything we had asked for. And so that's how I happen to be familiar with this particular item. The other thing I want to address is something that would not even have come up except that it was made such a big point in the appeal filed by the appellant, which is the process conducted by the Planning Commissioner. Commissioner Bauer has just said, given you a clarification of her own views. The thing that really struck me in this appeal that was really wrong was the questioning the competence and the goodwill of Commissioner Swetnam, who has tremendous expertise. He's got tremendous experience as a commissioner. He's consummately fair and very knowledgeable. He's even been named by the state of California as the #1 planning commissioner in the state a few years ago, and for very good reason. Now, the appellant claims that he misled, I'm quoting Mr. Schrag just from a few moments ago, the commission by saying that when this all came up in 2005, 2006, an environmental impact report was required by the Planning Commission. I was present at a lot of those hearings, and that was not the way I remembered it. I remembered it the way Commissioner Swetnam remembered it, which was, yes, that the commission required an environmental impact report. The planner at that time was Penelope Shibley, who's since left the county. And I recollected talking to her afterwards during this process and saying, where is it? And she told me various things which had held it up. I also recalled that other friends had been asked, including Jim Brown, also Chuck Lamb from Clear Lake Oaks, and Jeff Raines from the administrative office, and Linda Lake from the museums, to sit on a committee to select a consultant for that environmental impact report. And I have here, which I would like to give to the board, 7 copies of the request for preparation for that environmental impact report, and also a subsequent letter saying that to the committee saying that their services would not be needed for a while. A particular meeting was canceled because they had only had one response to their request for preparation. And I'd also like to close by saying how much I admire the way in Lake County we protect our history. It's our 150th anniversary as a county, and we're celebrating that. The State Fair exhibit was wonderful. The way that the county has rescued and restored the Elam Stage Stop is wonderful.
Eli Stage Stop.
Eli Stage Stop. Yeah, okay. The Eli Stage Stop, thank you for correcting me, is great. This is not 150 years of history, this is 6,000 years of history. We owe it to our past and to ourselves and to our future to use the same degree of care and consideration for this history as we do for the other much more recent mementos of our past.